I know if I'm not even allowed to hold West up, if I grinded on West half naked, it would probably have been more of an explosive conversation.
Virtual reality. All right, Lexi Wood, welcome to Virtual Reality. Danny and I are so excited to chat with you. Like we were mentioning before we started recording, we are just massive fans of you.
I love you guys. It's a mutual love.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it.
I remember meeting you at the premiere party that Evan couldn't make, and I was like, you really missed out on magic.
I know.
Because you were such a light and so much fun.
Thank you.
And it was like before I really saw the first episode from that, I was like, she's heaven.
I know, and then he was showing me footage of you from the party. I was actually recovering from a nose job. I got my cast off that day. And I was like, do you know what? Seeing Lexi IRL in that outfit maybe would have healed me.
Yeah.
Like, I would have
Your
healed
nose looks
faster.
great,
Oh, thank you so
first
much.
of all.
I appreciate that. Okay,
Gorgeous.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, as long
I
as
had a
Lexi
butt
thinks
crack
so, but
moment.
You did have a butt crack moment.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Yes.
That's what I saw. Yeah. But
If
now,
you got it.
It worked.
but now we are weeks and weeks into the season, and we're really hitting ahead when it comes to this whole Lexi Jesse drama situation. How are you feeling reliving it and watching so much unfold, so much that you weren't privy to? I can't imagine that feels good.
I think that's the main thing. I genuinely had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, to my face, he was fabulous. We hung out so much during the week. He would call me, even like the weekend of the toe. He called me like 38 times that weekend. So I
For
was
every
like,
minute he was in the room with
Yeah.
Ingrid, plus one, you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe that math is mathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really had like no idea.
And when he was being so like talkative to you during the week and everything like that, how was the conversation? Was he talking to you like, oh my God, I love you, you're so fun, but like,
Yes.
he was, yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, like, I'm a girl. Like, hearing that sounds like it feels really good. And I think my feelings were always trying to speed up to his. And because I am such a lover, and I went in with obviously, like, not necessarily a steady co-newbie. I was really by myself, so it felt really good because him and West were the new people
Yeah.
to the house. So I felt like he really understood me, but it's giving he really misunderstood me.
Or also, he almost misunderstood himself, because how is he saying, oh, she wants to meet my family, if he's calling you 39 times?
Well, yeah, meeting his family, he said it in the kitchen. He's like, well, it was always a plan for her to meet my family. So that was also kind of news to me. That entire thing, he had asked me before he even met my family to meet his, because he knew when his mom was coming into town and his dad, because it was for her birthday. So it was always a plan. Until, he called me the morning of and was like, Ciara thinks that you shouldn't meet my family. And I was like, well, do you want me to meet your family? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so
But-
am I meeting your family?
Wow,
or
and
no?
so, and that being sort of a Ciara thought that was delivered to you, looking back on it and knowing the history with Ciara and the flirting and everything, do you think that was some weird sort of chess move?
I honestly don't even know if that was real, considering a lot of other things that he said behind my back weren't real.
Whoa, wait.
So I would just think that maybe that there was like some other lies and manipulation that was going on.
Let's name some of the lies. Wait, so he was saying things like, because what you're basically saying is like, Ciara said you shouldn't meet them, but he just was saying Ciara in
And maybe it did happen, but I think at this point, he's obviously broken my trust so much, like hearing or whatever. So I think that I was very like.
What was it like watching these past episodes play back and hearing the girls talk about your relationship in a way like, oh, it's so effing weird? Like, how did that make you feel? Because you probably in the moment you felt like you had support from the girls. Did you feel unsupported when you heard them speaking about the relationship in that way?
Well, I didn't even know that the girls had any opinions because I didn't know Jesse was talking to them. So up to this point, I just thought that the girls were just distant with me, but they are so close, I could kind of be like, oh, they're not, like their room's upstairs, my room's downstairs. Like there's obviously going to be a natural kind of hangout disconnect. So I kind of just assumed that they were in their bed hanging out and whatever.
Such a Canadian sweetie.
Yeah.
I know.
But I think hearing it now, obviously, I'm like, I wish that they would have talked to me about it, because he's relaying a story that isn't necessarily based on 100% facts. And I really wish that I was able to tell my own story in my own words instead of whatever perception his view was.
And it's funny, when Gabby and Lindsay came in, Gabby was saying that like halfway through the summer, she was able, because I love interviewing Gabby because she likes to gossip just as much as I do. She was saying, I was able to start putting the pieces together, and the math started mathing in very different ways. So I'm assuming that's kind of when you started opening up to chatting with more of the girls. You were like, no, when you're talking, she probably was like, wait, what'd you say? And then is that kind of how the chips started to fall?
Yes, but it was difficult because then by that point, him and I had already been together for a month, hanging out so much, living together, like doing so much. He was moving, like for me, he wanted to get a cat together, like all of this stuff. So by the time...
A cat together?
Yeah. So by the time all of this was going down, I was like, I'm so aware of kind of being like, okay, well, if he's saying like all this stuff to me and everybody... let's be honest, everybody loves his attention. Maybe it's not as sinister as I feel in my tummy. So yeah, I think I was always at a state of confusion.
Right. Well, what really breaks my heart is I feel like you just matched his energy, because at the start of the summer, he was in it to win it, talking about, I love you, this is my girlfriend, to everyone else. And then you being innately a lover girl, you were like, okay, let's do it, let's go for it. And then it seemed like he had immediate regrets once he realized, oh, she's a girl who doesn't like to get played. She's a girl who doesn't want me to be with other girls while we're together and working towards something serious. So I don't know, it really breaks my heart that you simply matched his energy and then he played you out like this. I don't think you're a girl who would live with regrets, but looking back on your summer, do you wish you had done anything differently?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I wish that I had more knowledge to what was going on in my life, and the knowledge, and the knowledge that everybody else had, because I think I definitely would have made more informed decisions based on what was being said behind my back, which sucks. But I think at the end of the day, I'm so happy that I laid down boundaries, because I think it's so important for women to have the confidence to be able to say, I respect myself, I respect my mental health, emotional health, physical health, and I'm laying down these boundaries. I really hope as a human you can respect that and you put trust into that. And I think anyone would put trust into the person that is confessing his love for her every day.
You know who I feel would really, if you're not already using them as like a shoulder of support, would help you out so much right now? Lindsay Hubbard.
Oh, Lindsay is always she's been my girl since day one.
Okay, good.
I feel like as soon as I walked into that house, Lindsay was so maternal with me. Like, I feel like she was just so warm, so like we were always hugging. She was so good.
It's so fun. And of course it was different levels to the relationship statuses, but she had some, like, her relationship last season really play out so much. Has she been giving you any advice as you're kind of going through your first experience of reality TV with a relationship that's kind of all over the place?
Yeah, I think Lindsay is such a great sounding board. Like, she is someone that I was literally texting her the other day, and I was like, oh, girl, this is what I'm finding out. And she's just been such, like, a great person to kind of unload on. And honestly, same with Gabby. We'll go and get some martinis and we'll just have a little girls' night and yap. And yeah, they've been such strong women in my life, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, they're the best. Now, I do want to unpack this most recent episode just a little bit. There's that moment when you guys are getting out of the car and Jesse is talking about you flirting with Wes. And to me, as a viewer, what it seemed like he was trying to latch on to any sort of behavior that might mirror his own. That way he could make himself feel better about what was going on in the flirting with Ciara and everything. You say you were just trying to help poor blacked out Wes stand up straight. I mean, watching it all back, how do you reflect on that situation? Because then when you got into bed later on, it felt like, I don't know, I felt like there was a lot of manipulation at play. It made me, as a viewer, feel really icky. To watch it back, I'm sure it also made you feel a little icky.
Yeah, 100%. I think watching it back, it really broke my heart, because I was like, wow, like, if I was my best friend, what would I tell her? And I was just so upset, because I was like, damn, like, I would never want my best friend to be treated like that, but somehow I was treated like that. And there's so much going on that I think it's easy to kind of just be like, okay, on to the next thing, on to the next conversation, on to the next dynamic in the house. So I think the Wes and I flirting thing is ridiculous. No offense, West. But him being Ciara's ex, I would just never, I immediately went into the house just already having a preconceived, like, West is just a friend and that's all he'll ever be. Because, you know, I'm not trying to make her feel any type of way, or that's, I don't know, just to me, he was immediately friend zoned. And then obviously on top of it, me and Jesse hitting it off. Yeah. He's Jesse's best friend. So I really thought I was being a good friend.
Yes. And also, like, Wes is a tall man that you're trying your best.
Yes.
But it's funny you saying you would never go after Wes for those reasons. It's why I like scratch my head so much seeing the Ciara Jesse flirting, even if it is just friendly because of the Wes connection. What do you make of how they interact with each other, knowing that's Jesse's best friend and his ex is with Ciara?
I mean, I know if I'm not even allowed to hold West up, if I grinded on West half naked, it would probably have been more of an explosive conversation than him just being in his feels, because that's crazy now watching it back. But I also never knew anything until watching it with everyone else.
What is it like hearing, because I'm not sure if you've seen it, but Jesse and Ciara seem to be really leaning into this whole situation on social media by posting photos together that look very flirty and commenting on each other's social posts. It kind of feels like they're trying to rub it in your face. I don't know. Do you have any feelings or thoughts about that? Or now that the season is over and summer's done, we're kind of, it's like out of sight, out of mind?
I think at the end of the day, I will always think the best of girls, and I always think girls should choose each other over boys, and the mentality of boys will be boys to me does not ever have any grounding in any space of my life. I also think I am not necessarily surprised, because I had a birthday party and I invited everyone, and a certain 2 people didn't answer, and then a certain 2 people hung out that day instead.
Those 2?
Oh my
Stop!
God.
So, yeah, I think at this point it's been a while, and I'm not surprised.
Wow, they better be prepared for you at the reunion, I hope. How do you expect the reunion energy will be between you and Jesse, you and Ciara?
Again, with Ciara, I really hope that we can move on and be friends, because I honestly think at the end of the day, as much as just being friends and living under the same roof, I would have loved the same type of mindset that I had going in with West. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Jesse's the one that actually has things to answer to, because Jesse is the one that was dating me and confessing his love. So, yeah, I think I wouldn't come at.
I have hope for you, because when we chatted with Ciara, she did say 9 times out of 10 when there's a problem with the girls, the boys are to blame.
Yes.
So my hope is that you and Ciara just like have a model reunion and just are glamorous together.
I would love it.
Date boys outside of Bravo. You can get that.
I would love it. I think Ciara, she reminds me so much of my other friends from home. I'm like, I know that I think we have something here.
Oh my God. Okay, well,
she's gorgeous, and yeah.
She'll be at the next birthday party.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, yeah, I want better for her.
Okay. All right.
Wait, yeah.
All right. She's a seasoned reality star already. Ending this interview with the shade. Okay. We want better for Ciara. There we go.
She deserves so much.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for talking to us, Lexi. We love you.
Thank you. I love you guys.